Hi, this is Mo Volans for Point Blank Music School, and we're looking at Final Touch by Positive Grid for the iPad. Now, Final Touch actually has two EQ systems built into it. They're both linear phase, and they actually both work in the same way, but there's a pre and a post EQ. We're going to take a look now at why we've got two EQs here and exactly how we can use them to improve our mixes. So here we are back in the Final Touch app, and you can see that I've got one of the two EQs already highlighted and its information's being shown in the center section. Now I've already added some low end and filtered some subsonics from this house track. And by the way, although we're using a house track in this video, we will be using other styles of music throughout the whole series. So you're going to be seeing some rock and pop and some more chilled electronica as well. But for the minute, I'm adding low end here, and I also want to mess around with some other frequencies. So let's take a look at how the EQ works first before we start looking at the reasoning behind having two EQs in the app. So to engage it, just drag it into the chain like that. And you can see these 2 points here in the display, and these are because we've got two filters activated out of the possible 8. And if I just go ahead and press on any of them, you'll see that they're activated in the same way throughout the entire 8 filters. Now when I've done that, I can then click in the display and choose a different mode down here. So I've got high pass, low shelf, peak, high shelf and low pass. And I've got a high pass to remove subsonics, and I've also got a low shelf to add some low end. Once you've selected it, you can alter the cue point either down here in the numerical display or pinch and spread the cue point with the actual handle here. So let's play this back. And you can hear the low end and the removal of the subsonics quite clearly. Now these are both linear phase EQs, so you can expect crystal clear sound and really surgical operation. Now both EQs are exactly the same in nature. You've got the same 8 filter banks, the same mode adjustment and the same cue point and gain adjustment. And you can adjust the frequency of each band just by dragging in the display in exactly the same way. But why have we got two EQs? Well, it's quite clear. One's called a pre-EQ and one's called a post-EQ. And these are really for adding before and after specific processes to maybe correct frequencies that were removed during processing, or maybe enhance frequencies that, were lost. So let's have a look at how we can use this. So there's our pre-EQ, but let's say we put this multiband dynamics processor in, and it's controlling some high end, you can see here on the right. So I want to add some of that back in. Okay, we've controlled our high frequencies, but maybe we've lost a bit of brightness in the process. So let's go ahead and put our post EQ in. And you can see this post EQ, all it's doing is adding some high end. And if I take the post EQ out, you can see that it's a little dull in nature. Take them both out. And we've got a much flatter sound. So there's our pre-EQ, our multiband dynamics, and our post-EQ. Now these are all working together to create our final sound, but just because I've used this configuration doesn't mean you're limited to that. Of course, you can move this around, and you might be using some stereo imaging, and it might be making things a little bright, so you might want to remove some high end. It's really up to you how you configure it, but this is one example of how you might use a pre and a post EQ in your mastering chain. So that should give you a good idea of how the EQs work and what they're capable of. And in the next video, we'll push on and take a closer look at that multi-dynamics plugin we took a quick look at in this video.